BRB UK. Worse teeth, better accents.
Hello, and indeed ahoy hoy. Welcome to BRB UK episode 541. Rejoice! None of us have had to play Redfall. Huzzah! I'm Dan, one of your hosts. I'm very glad. I actually stopped it mid-download. Tim, did you stop Redfall mid-download because you heard it was utter garbage?
I was kind of looking forward to it, though, but after reviews, I didn't bother downloading it. I'll wait till it's possibly been patched and polished up to be somewhat decent, maybe.
Excellent. Coleman.
Hi.
Hello.
I was looking forward to it because I like those types of shooty, multiplayer, co-op type games. And
Right.
Unfortunately, again, saw the reviews and also realised the last kind of big releases that have come to Game Pass just don't perform well on the Series S. So deciding, hey, I'm going to wait until I've got an X to play some of these games. And also, this one is waiting for a patch for 60 frames a second gameplay.
Oh, that is the least of its worries from what I've heard.
So I thought I'd give it a miss. But not only that, I've actually cancelled my subscription to Game Pass because I'm just not getting anything out of it at the moment.
Controversial.
It's partly the big games that come out, they don't play well on my console. The smaller ones I'm not too interested in anyway because I play on my Steam Deck. And one of the niceties of reviewing games is we get sent a lot of games. So I've not actually needed Game Pass for a while.
So there we go, chaps,
Fair enough.
chapettes, listeners of all denominations. Review video games, get free video games. Unfortunately, I have such little time to play video games that I have to pass up
They
most
send you
things
nothing.
to get thrown my way. Damn it, being an adult sucks.
Yep.
Sucks.
This is why the Steam Deck comes in handy.
Indeed. So we have, because it's slightly silly season this month with game releases, we're gonna flip things upside down for how we do this episode. Usually we burble at you about what we've done played, but first we're gonna tell you about the headlines because we've got quite a bit that's done played, not much in the way of headlines. So Coleman, the news.
Yes, so we're going to we've literally got two notes, no big headlines this week. The biggest bit of news, I guess, is that the Xbox Game Showcase has been announced and scheduled for the 11th of June, which will be 6 o'clock here over in the UK. And they've not announced any of the games that are going to be shown off yet, nothing specific, but you want to check it out because there's always something cool to see at a games showcase. But after the showcase, there's going to be a specific deep dive into Starfield.
Ooh.
And everyone's excited for Starfield. I will be especially excited for Starfield if I do end up getting a Series X.
Excellent. This is
well
Xbox Game Showcase. Hey, let's not talk about Redfall Edition, I think is probably how I would title it. I think their timing of the announcement was like, hey, look, we know about Redfall. We know. Here's something to look forward to. It's okay.
Wouldn't it be around the time of their normal E3 conference, though? So kind of not too...
It would be, but the timing of the announcement is probably to make light on the eye herpes that is...
You're seeing a chicken before the egg, and it may be the other way around, though, because they may be like, right, I don't care what state Redfall's in, you got to get it out before we do our conference so we don't have to talk about that at the conference.
That could be that. That could very well. That is also an equally plausible set of circumstances.
If that's the case, then wouldn't you just delay it for a very long time to work on it some more, rather than just chuck it out and give yourself a really bad reputation?
They're just ripping the Band-Aid off, mate. It's past saving.
It's not
just rip the Band-Aid off. Just get the pain over and done with.
It's just not a good way to do things. It's just not cricket. But there have been mentions from Xbox today to say that they're being a lot more careful with how they present Starfield, as Redfall didn't live up to critical expectation, I think is the way they stated.
I don't know if you saw, because it only came out today, the day that we're recording the podcast, but Kind of Funny did a big Gamercast interview with Phil Spencer of Xbox fame and talked through the kind of disappointing launch of Redfall, and kind of difficult position for Microsoft at the moment, especially, or with Xbox, particularly with all the difficulties of the Activision Blizzard King deal, like not going through and all that type of stuff. Very good interview. I suggest you go have a look. Yeah, I like the crew that does the Gamercast over there. They did a very good job of interviewing him and not making life too easy on him. And I think he did a very good job of answering their questions and dealing with a lot of gamers' concerns with the release of Redfall as well. So
very good.
The other thing is as well that I'd imagine we're probably going to hear a lot of details about, even perhaps leading up to this, is the rumor mills going bananas, I tell you, about Forza Motorsport almost certainly being released in kind of the summer time frame. So it may well be that it's a hey guys, this is coming out really soon type of.
It has been. I think it's been confirmed. It's now definitely it's been locked in for 2023. We just don't know when in 2023. But yeah, that would make sense. They're at the point where there's no going back, but they're taking suggestions for tracks and things still. So I think that's more of an update type scenario they're going for. But the game seems a lock at the moment.
Well, I think there was a tweet from Microsoft Game Dev. Well, it's hard to tell who's who on Twitter these days. But specifically saying, who else is ready for summer? Here's a picture of a Ferrari GT40. Hashtag Forza.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So there we go. Again, people might be putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 3,207,000. But, there is, hope that it's going to be coming out sooner rather than later. I'm really looking forward to Forza Motorsport. No surprises there, right? But I'm really looking forward to it. Just because I find
also
Gran
the
Turismo
sky is
so
blue,
dry
grass is green,
sometimes.
Water's wet. Dan likes
Destiny.
Destiny.
I know. Destiny's a great game. Yeah, exactly.
Are you excited for F1 this year, Dan? Just out of interest.
F1 23, they're bringing back although this is nothing to do with Microsoft.
Yeah, I know, I'm just interested.
I mean, they look like they're bringing back kind of like the breaking point LOL mode, a little jeu de mots they did there with arch nemesis Devon Butler, who apparently is still an absolute toe rag. But they're kind of aping the format of Drive to Survive on Netflix now.
Wasn't Devon Butler the fake PlayStation CEO guy that they used to cart out for ads and stuff?
No, genuinely, that was Phil Harrison.
No, that was Kevin Butler.
Kevin Butler.
Feels just like that.
It's going to be the joke. And something that's not coming out either soon or late is the, if you remember Marvel's Midnight Suns, I believe that was one of your games of the year last year, Tim. There was a Switch port in the work, which has now been cancelled, unfortunately.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah. Which cancelled?
So if you were,
because I've been keeping an eye on this for the inevitable Steam sale it's going to feature in, and it looks like it could be a really good Massive Deke game.
Yes.
Yeah, I keep spotting on CD keys they have like the super duper edition with the season pass and all the enhanced costumes and stuff, and I keep hovering over that because that goes down to. So I've seen that at its lowest about £30. I'm going, I'm not even sure if I want this game, but that's a good deal for all this stuff.
But it's got the word Marvel, and it's 50% off, right? I mean, what's not to love?
I do like
with
Marvel.
all the DLC, that's a lot of game. Basically, I haven't even picked up all the DLC yet because I haven't finished the main campaign. As long as you like wandering around the Abbey area, it should be a good deck game, which I can actually see working quite well in that regard. Actually. It would be good.
Well, I might get it in future. I mean, if I'm not getting a Switch version, I may as well get a Steam Deck version. Just because. And then I'll paint each side of my Steam Deck, one blue and one red, and
you just put a
make
sticker
it
on it.
Look like
I'd put the sticker on it, mate. I'd do the sticker. I wouldn't paint it.
I did. You know what? I got given a skin for my Steam Deck, and I don't particularly like putting skins on my electronics, but went to use it, and I looked through the instructions like, right, first get your hairdryer and start blowing it on the Steam Deck.
Oh,
is
it a D-brand one?
I don't know what
D-brand one, by the way.
It might be D-brand, but the minute I saw, just put a hairdryer near your screen that could warp and bend, like, no, I'm not putting this on.
It's not going to get hot enough to do that.
I don't trust it.
It's fine.
I am not heating up my electronics. I'll stick it in the microwave.
That sounds like a bad...
Put the sticker.
I've put a skin on my Missy Deke.
All right. What about your Steam Deck though?
Well, I mean, I wasn't circumcised. If
Buffalo
that's what
Bill
you're
with your Switch there. It puts the
No,
lotion.
I'm not. I'm not. I'm not staple gunning people's lips to my Steam Deck or something like that. Jesus Christ. What's wrong with you, Tim?
Put the plastic on your Steam Deck and bung it in the microwave, and it should set just fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Don't.
Woo! Actually, don't do that.
Actually, do
Seriously,
that. No, record it. It'd be hilarious.
Don't put metal things in the microwave.
Put metal things in the microwave. Put metal things in everyone's microwaves.
No, don't. No.
All the metal. All the microwaves.
The science.
Chaos.
We've talked about this before. The science will escape, Coleman. That's why you can't put these things in microwave.
Don't do that. Big Red Barrel does not actually condone explosions.
Rule 1 of microwaves. Have fun. Should we talk about the games we done played? Because that was all the news we got.
I think we probably should. And I think Coleman.
Oh, I'm going first. I thought you should go first because yours is a hangover from last week, and we really should get it while it's.
Is it okay? Mine is a hangover from last week.
Yeah.
So if you listened last week, you probably heard me burble on that I've been playing a bit of Horizon Forbidden West: Burning Shores, which is the first DLC, premium DLC for Horizon Forbidden West. So it's about 15-20 quid. It basically picks up where the story left off of the first game. So spoiler warning inbound. Do I have a sound effect? Do I have a sound effect for spoiler warnings?
A spoiler sound effect. Oh,
you have 15 million bloody sounds on that thing, and no
not one for spoilers. Some sort of alarm.
I'm looking. Hold on. What's that one?
Oh.
Spoiler!
Yeah.
This is your spoiler warning.
Shields up. Spoiler alert. There we go. You have been warned.
Before you say spoiler, I will say there are chapter markings in the episode. So if you're on your player or whatever, you can hit one of those markings and it will skip over if you want. I will.
Yes.
Yeah. If we do spoilers at the front, then I can remove that bit. You can skip it.
All right.
All right.
Okay. So. Spoiler alert! Anyway, yes, I've been playing Horizon Forbidden West, Burning Shores. So this picks up pretty much where the first game left off. You end up having a chat with, and again, it's a very, very poignant moment because you're obviously having a chat to the sadly departed.
You've forgotten his name.
Lance Reddick is who you're speaking to. His character, and where it left off, the first game was, right, we got rid of the technological people from the past, but also our future. Thank you, Coleman. From the past, but also our future, who are all powerful and immortal and stuff, and have robots that can do really bad things. So we got rid of them. Lance Reddick jumped in a spaceship. I'm just going to call him Lance Reddick because everyone knows who that is. He jumped in the spaceship to get off Earth because I tell you, there is a big bad incoming called Nemesis. Not the roller coaster. Not the roller coaster. No,
Stars.
Incoming to wipe. Oh God, I just need my desk. Sorry, I'll do that again.
You do need your desk. You got to put stuff on it.
Yeah. Otherwise, your microphone will fall down.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because I know Coleman will get triggered if he hears my mic go thunk like that. There we go. Spoiler alert. Kick my desk. Yes, so Nemesis is on the way to destroy all life on Earth, and the one remaining future past person who, the people who still live on Earth, they used to revere them as gods because they were so technologically awesome. Londra, that's his name. He's very Machiavellian, very evil, and he knows that Nemesis is coming and wants to get the heck off Earth, but not before he takes some pretty ladies with him. I'm not even joking here. He basically wants to jump in a spaceship, audition, quote unquote, almost exclusively young women to join him in the spaceship, and then all fly off into space and start new civilization.
I like this guy.
There we go.
I like the cut of his
That's his plan. Yeah. All this is set in LA, hence why it's this dude kind of, he's trying to do the auditioning of people who should join him, and he's kind of trying to rekindle his lost love for his ex-partner who used to be an actress. So he's trying to do that and making them say lines from her movies and stuff. It's all very, very strange. But it's in LA, which you haven't explored in Horizon Forbidden West before, and it's more Horizon Forbidden West, I think, is the best thing I can say about it. For good and for ill, I have to say it was a while since I've played the game, so I was very confused initially. I think there are a lot of mechanics.
I can understand
certainly
that.
in Forbidden West, a lot of mechanics got layered
they're like
in
animals.
with. Thank you, Coleman, for that's not the mechanics I was going for.
The
you blithering
mechanics.
idiot. No, yes, exactly. Yeah. So I had a bit of relearning to do there, but it's a beautiful game. They've really kind of upped the visuals on this. That's the reason they gave for not releasing this DLC on PS4. It was so they could make it look super sexy on the PS5. And it pretty much nails it. I mean, you're wandering around kind of destroyed LA. You can, if you've ever been to LA, specifically Hollywood, there are very obvious landmarks you'll kind of recognize
Would you
as
say
obviously shadows of them for
it
themselves.
could be described as Hele?
Warning, bad joke. And reference to
You're an
last
idiot.
week. I've been wandering around LA more this week, but we'll come on to that in a moment. But yeah, like
Right,
this,
thanks,
as you
yep.
say, does really seem to take advantage of the PS5. What's the kind of, apart from the actual just graphical fidelity, is there anything else? Because I from what I'd seen, there seemed to be some quite grand boss fights that people were saying, "Oh, you couldn't do
Yeah.
that on PS4," and I'm like, well,
Yeah.
probably have
Could.
done, but maybe not quite as shiny. But
Yeah, I mean, there are some incredible set pieces in this. I mean, there's a couple of boss fights which slightly fall flat. There's one in particular where I don't know whether or not because something bugged out or whatever. But it seemed to be far easier than it had any right to be. Certainly, and I'm by no means an expert at this game. And I was like, oh, that I did that. That was fine. There's kind of a couple of recurring characters come back, which is quite nice. There's some new weapons to use, and there's some new skills to use as well. So it does add things kind of back into the mix. But yeah, certainly towards the end, there's some phenomenal bits of some phenomenal kind of set pieces with boss fights that almost remind me of, remember God of War 3 and like kind of just the ridiculous scale
Like
of
Atlas
some of the
and stuff.
bosses. It's like that.
Nice.
It's like that. And it's just like, wow, this is cool. I don't want to go into too many details because that will spoil the DLC that I'm trying to review. But
I do have a question.
But yeah, I mean, yeah.
So, because I tend to research the games that we're talking about, and whenever I looked at screenshots
Glad
for
someone does.
The Burning Shores, I could see every screenshot was Aloy on the back of a glider, the big bird pterodactyl type thing. Is that quite heavy in the DLC? Because I literally all I could find is flying shots.
Yeah, I mean, it starts off with, I think, rather than have you traverse across the entire continental US, it's like, let's jump on the big bird robot and let's go flying and let's go west and let's go to LA. So I think it's really that. I mean,
is it just fast travel or is it
kind of? Well, it's not like kind of instant travel. There's still that between like when the kind of classic rest at a bonfire, fast travel to another bonfire somewhere. But it does. I mean, I think towards the end of the first, the kind of the main game, you do unlock that birdie robot thing.
Okay.
Your Sunwing, I believe it's called, where it's just meant to kind of defaff discovering the rest of the map. And I think it's probably a very sensible choice. I mean, there are that they kept that in there. I wouldn't say it's like a central bit of gameplay. I mean, it does get referenced a couple of times, and there's one or two sequences where you are flying about being a ginger ninja, and that, it doesn't feel shoehorned in. It isn't like, oh man, we spent loads of money developing bird fly technology, so we better have this all bird fly technology tastic. Doesn't feel like
all
that
bird
at all.
All the time.
Where it is there, it feels, good. And it feels like it's helping you explore the world rather than being kind of just a token effort. But yeah, I very much enjoyed it. I have to say, very much enjoyed it. And especially if you've picked the game up via PS Plus, so although it would have been part of your subscription, you wouldn't have had to pay any more money to do it. I think it's well worth chucking a 10 or 15 quid towards it, because if you like that first game, you like more of this. If you didn't like the main game, probably this isn't going to change your mind much. And the other thing to really note is you can only start this DLC if you have completed the main quest.
That's good.
In the base game.
That's good. $16.99 the game costs. The DLC costs on its own. Yeah, I need to get back and finish Horizon. It's on my list. I want to finish Cyberpunk before the next expansion comes out. I really love that game, and I was enjoying this. I need to get back to it. Like I said, there was a glitch that stopped me progressing further that I need to see if that's been patched or if I need to start again. We'll see. But I was really enjoying the game for as long as I was playing it, so I really would like to get back into it. But unfortunately, as we know, Horizon is one hell of a git of a game to get back into because your brain just forgets everything.
Yes.
Yep. It certainly does.
By far, probably the hardest game I've had to get back into.
So yeah, there we go. It's a solid thumbs up from me, I have to say. So if you liked Horizon Forbidden West, looking for some more Horizon Forbidden West, this unsurprisingly is more Horizon Forbidden West.
Cool.
So yes.
Even though it's more Horizon Zero Dawn.
Forbidden West.
No, it's Horizon Forbidden West. Horizon Forbidden West is more Horizon Zero Dawn.
Agenda then is not correct.
That's easily correctable.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tim.
That's
going to have to be addressed.
Thanks, Tim.
Okay.
Tim alert!
Yep.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Pedantry warning!
So, on the day we record, because we record these podcasts on a Thursday to go out on a Friday, the date is today, as we record, May the 4th.
Yes. Yes, it is. Star Wars Day.
Which would be a perfect day to release a Star Wars video game, but they released it a week ago. So, I have been playing Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and I believe you've also been playing this, Tim?
Yeah, I've only played the first hour or so. I've basically got off Coruscant, so the first planet.
Then stand back and let me talk to you about Star Wars.
Okay. You do that. What format, what version are you playing, by the way?
Video game. I was going to do some LARPing, but I thought video game probably a better experience.
But video game would be the way
Video game format was the way to go. Okay, good.
Did you have a disastrous moment with Force pushing and you discovered you were constipated? Is that what it was?
No, I was. I've been banned from LARPing because I hit a child in the head with a stick, thinking it was a lightsaber.
Oh, well, that'll do it.
Yeah,
that'll do it.
And we weren't even LARPing. I was just down the park being a nuisance, really.
Yeah, what? Just hitting children with sticks?
Yeah,
is that what you were doing?
Look, what I do in my spare time is up to me. All right.
Oh, they got to learn. They got to learn, haven't they, Coleman? If they haven't learned not to approach a strange bald beardy man in a park who's holding a stick, when are they going to learn?
Never do that anyway.
Yeah, don't do that.
There we go. But they don't know that until you've taught them that, Coleman. They don't know.
Anyway, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. This is the follow-up to the 2019 game on the last generation. This is out on PS5, PC, and the Xbox Series. I am playing on PS5, and it seems there are quirks to whatever version you're going for of this game. The front runner of ones you want to play on is the Xbox Series X, apparently. There's less issues on the X. Now, I'll get into I'll talk about the game first, then we'll get into problems because I've got some grievances.
Because this game has been reviewing really quite well.
Yes, and I am confused by this, but we'll get into that. So, sequel to Jedi Fallen Order.
It's no Redfall, is it? Let's face it.
Sequel to Jedi Fallen Order came out 2019. You played Cal Kestis, who was a Padawan during the point of Order 66, where him and his master were attacked by clone troopers. And the first game is you kind of going off on a mission to see if you can track down other Jedi, other Force-sensitive people, and basically reform the Jedi. So following that game, it takes a bit of a time skip. The original cast of characters that you've been with have all kind of disbanded and gone their own different ways. And Cal Kestis is now, he's in charge of the ship, the Mantis, that you were using in the first game, and he has gathered up a band of rebels along with himself. And they're just causing absolute havoc for the Empire. And you kind of start off deep in one of those missions, And then before long, you're back on the path to kind of get the band back together and face off against a new nasty.
Classic.
But the way it opens up, because the way it ended, they kind of set up where you think it was going to go one way, and you're thinking you're going to get more of the same. And then very early on in the game, like through the tutorial level, the opening level, it kind of wraps everything up and then goes, okay, no, we're doing this instead, which... If you watch the sequels, that's very similar to the what was it? The second of the Star Wars sequels, where they just went, no, put all that out there and we'll start.
All that, forget all that. I have a question.
What is your question?
I have a question. My question. Can I tell you one of my pet hates? I'm going to tell you my pet hate. One of my pet hates. Then I'm going to follow it up with a question.
Well, the only pet I know you have is cat.
Completely arbitrary main character amnesia in sequels, where they forget all of their abilities. How do they handle that in this? Does he go back to being a Padawan? Or do you just build on the skills?
You're a Jedi Knight, though. You didn't go through the trials. You kind of knighted on the scene in the previous game, which does come up in conversation later on. So you're not a traditional Jedi in the sense of walking around in the robes and following the order and everything. You're a lone Jedi Knight who's been knighted by an elder. And this one, you've got all your powers from the previous game, and now you're building on those powers in new and creative ways.
Oh,
so
cool.
There are new Jedi abilities to learn, like force mind tricks and stuff. You can trick other enemies to fight along your side. There's things like that. But also, there are new stances, because in the previous game, you had a single lightsaber stance, and then along the way, there was a secret double lightsaber stance. And then towards the end of the game, you could unlock a two lightsabers instead of the dual lightsaber. So it kind of splits the lightsaber. And that's how that one ends. In this one, there are two new stances. There's a single lightsaber and a blaster, as seen in the pre-order DLC that ruined that surprise. And then there was there's the kind of, what do they call it? The hilt lightsaber, the one that Kylo Ren uses with the two parts that come out the side. So it's more of a double-handed single lightsaber for more power moves, which was in the trailer. So the two things that could have been a nice little surprise got ruined straight away. But
excellent. Good work.
Yeah, that unlocks
good work.
New moves and new skill trees for you to fill out along the way, and they are pretty fun. And whereas the split lightsaber thing literally comes out at the end of the game in the last one, it's at the start of pretty close to the start of the game in this. I think it's at the end of the tutorial, in fact. So there's a lot of fun to be unlocking new abilities and playing around with that stuff. And you can only ever have two stances at one time, so you have to kind of figure out which are your best ones and work on that. And because they have skill trees and stuff, you might want to stick with two and then swap one out and start building up over time if you want to fill out your whole skill tree and be the super powerful Jedi.
So for people who haven't played much Jedi Survivor or haven't played the first game at all, so like stance is essentially like your subclass, as it were. So it's like that unlocks a whole set of moves, or
yes, no, yeah. I think that's a good way of describing it. Because the whole if you haven't played the first game, you really should. It's very good and it's always super cheap. I think I bought this game twice because I got it on Steam for like £3.70.
Welcome to PC Gaming. Buy the same game multiple times.
Well, because it's on Steam Deck and it plays really well on Steam Deck, and they went, hey, £3.70. I'd stupid not to buy it, even though I've beaten this game and played through it 3 times. I'll do it again on the Steam Deck. Why not?
I must admit, I have played the first one, but I've never finished the first one, and I really should go back.
Oh, you should. It's a very good story.
Thanks, Coleman. I thought
especially if you like the kind of expanded stuff with the Clone Wars series and Rebels and Mandalorian and all those kind of things. It takes a lot of focus from those kind of set places and stories and side stories and things. So yeah, it's a good way of bringing that whole universe together in the game.
So it does kind of lean into the kind of like the transmedia stuff that they're very much doing with the Star Wars franchise at the moment.
I mean,
that's cool.
From what I've seen.
Yeah, no, it's like you'll see background creatures going around that you don't see in the movies. Oh, wait, that's from the cartoon. And then you'll see like a ship from the movies, and it kind of mixes it all up quite nicely. And it blends all those different versions of Star Wars together, which is really cool, as they're meant to be one world. This is kind of that joining point, I think. Anyway, if you're not aware of these games, they kind of play like sort of a mix of Dark Souls or Souls-like and Uncharted Tomb Raider-y type games. So there's a lot of platforming, climbing, obstacles and stuff, and then all of a sudden it will go. You have to fight someone, and it will go into more of a Dark Souls type stance, and you, if you're not careful, you can die very easily. But it's more of like it's a much
and there's
lighter
meditation
version.
Points that are like
there's meditation points where you can you gather points, and then you can spend those experience points on different things at meditation points, and you can rest there and gain your health back. But if you rest there, then it respawns all the enemies in an area. So yeah, it's got that Souls type mechanic, but it's a lot lighter than a Souls game. It's a lot more approachable, I think. Although I have had to bump down the difficulty on a couple of bosses in the previous game, so it can get challenging at points, I found. With this one, the improvements are there's a lot more. In the previous one, you would go to different planets, and then that planet is, again, it's much like a Dark Souls or a Bloodborne or something, and you go through that little world, and then you're onto the next planet, and then you revisit planets, and it does that Mega Man thing of you've learnt a new ability, go back to previous planet, and now you can get past X obstacle and get further. This one, it will drop you into those similar types of areas, but also some of those areas are much more kind of open world feeling, open area feeling. There are a lot more hub worlds and stuff for you to play around in. In fact, one of the main planets that you're on, there's kind of a base of operations and stores and things around you. So you kind of upgrade things and bring more characters to this kind of originally kind of empty town as you go into it, and your base of operations is a cantina, and the more people you interact with in missions, the more they start appearing in the cantina, and it fills out, and you get a DJ droid there and stuff, and yeah, it's all really fun.
Yo, it's your boy.
Yeah. But it was pretty cool because in the previous game there was little unlockables. There was like plants. There was plants and things you could collect, but they were stored on the ship. This time they're stored in a cantina, and you've got like a rooftop garden and stuff. And it's a lot more. There's a lot more upgradable things like that for you to play around with. I like that. That's really cool. Another new thing that's been brought into this one is interactable animals. So there are mounts. There are like winged creatures that you can use to glide off of tall areas and stuff. So yeah, that stuff's pretty cool. They've added something to it that wasn't there before. It's basically like you got vehicles, which is cool. So that's all the good stuff. There is a much wider story. It's not going the way you think it was going to go. It's thoroughly entertaining. It's acted very well. There's new mechanics. A lot of stuff to be enjoyed here. Now here's where the problems come in.
Okay.
So
hit me with it.
You may have noticed this game has been getting very, 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 very good reviews across the board. And it's something that's confused me.
Most certainly has.
And one of those has been, so first of all, PC. A lot of players, and if you look at Steam, you will see a lot of thumbs down, a lot of negative reviews, and that's because this game has been quite unplayable for a lot of PC players, which rather than come out and go, sorry, we're working on that, or some kind of statement like that, Respawn Entertainment kind of went along the ways of going, oh, well, our sophisticated game isn't quite good enough for most PCs out there, and it's those darn components, and if you didn't upgrade to Windows 11, then shame on you. And it's a very weird kind of statement that they put out on Twitter, I saw the other day.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of PC players that are having problems with that, and you may think, okay, so these reviewers, they're giving it high scores. Maybe they're not PC players. Maybe they're playing it on a console. I'm playing this on PS5, and like most games on the that are available on all the modern consoles, you get two modes. You get a performance mode, and you get a visual mode. The visual mode is your HDR, 4K, ray tracing, all that stuff. Can't play it. It looks
3 frames a second.
Yeah, it's very juddery.
So far, I've had it in the quality mode rather than the performance mode, and I haven't had any issues.
Yeah, you're on
because we've already established him. You are unable to see.
I can't see
more than 30 frames a second.
No.
Yeah.
So the reason I think the reason you've got no problem here, you said you've just got off Coruscant, which is the training area.
Yes. Yeah.
Plays fine.
So it might. Right. Okay. Fine.
Now what you're going to get as you go to different. So I was playing in performance mode, going, oh, I love this. I'm so happy to be back and playing a Star Wars Fallen game, the Jedi game. This is great. I'm having a great old time. And then I got off Coruscant. They put me in a big open old area. I went, something looks off. Something looks very off. And I kind of
Right.
panned the camera around to Cal's face, and he looked really odd and blurry, and his features had kind of sunken into his face. I was like, what the hell's going on here? So I start playing around with the settings, and like my main two things to turn off in performance mode is I turn off motion blur, because I can't stand motion blur. Makes me feel a little bit sick.
Right.
And turn off film grain, because I can't stand film grain as well. Artificial film grain is very annoying. Turned off those two things, and the game started juddering. Just absolutely, just stuttering, screen tearing, all kinds of issues on performance mode where it's meant to be playing in 60, and the frame dips were horrible. So then I had to kind of zoom the FOV. I had to put that back in. I had to turn motion blur on. I had to turn film grain on, and then my frame rates went back up again. But
weird,
I know. But certain levels.
Wrong way around.
Again, if the level is too ambitious, if it's too big, then it has a problem with it, and its way of getting up to a certain frame rate. And I really think performance mode, they should have just dropped it down to 1080 to get some of this, because it's not 4K, but it's not 1080. It's somewhere in between that they've decided for performance mode.
But they do that quite a bit with dynamic resolutions. I'd imagine that's one of the things that it does.
I can imagine so.
It says to your TV it's 4K. Actually, it's internally rendering a much lower resolution.
The interlace cross thing that they do, and apparently this. But I haven't looked at the breakdown for this, but I've heard it performs a lot better on Series S because they dropped it down to 1080. It's made to keep a much more solid. I don't know if it's kept a better frame rate, but it's kept a solid frame rate. Whereas PS5, depending on the level, I'm getting a lot of dips and stuff. And I finally got to a bit where. I've got much further, but at one point I got to one of those kind of Empire stations where it looks like the sort of Death Star interior, where it's all kind of corridors and steel panels and stuff, and then all of a sudden, everything just worked much better now because it's all kind of closed in and much more claustrophobic. But that kind of improved the performance, so it's very hit and miss on the levels. And again, I've seen nothing of this in any of the reviews. I've seen stuff about this on. I've heard about it on podcasts. I've heard about this on YouTube's like YouTube type
on the
things.
On
the YouTube's, as my grandma would say.
Nice.
And but it's when I look at professional games press, no mention of technical issues at all. And I find that very odd.
Yeah, but by the sounds of it, it does seem that they were all reviewing it based on often not having the day zero patch, let alone the day one patch, which they were told were going to fix a lot of the problems.
Well, if that's the case, I think you hold off on your review going live and then give it, at least an hour's play once the day one patch has gone live, because there are sites that do that. There they go. We've been told there's a day zero, or make mention. We had these problems, but we've been assured this will be fixed in a patch.
Yes,
there's something along those lines, and it's kind of it is kind of smacking of the Cyberpunk 2077 when that came out, and it got all these really, really good reviews, and then when it came out, it went, oh, by the way, this plays like arse. It's not finished. Don't buy it on consoles and.
It's doing a disservice.
Meanwhile, it's getting 9s and 10s across the board.
To stop us from, basically,
Yeah. And so much so that I ended up refunding that game. So it has technical issues, and it is a shame because, if you're going to tally up all the improvements you could make on a sequel, this game is amazing. This game would be an amazing sequel to the previous game.
Yeah.
However, with the technical issues, and I can't speak for the Xbox Series X because I've only heard it from other people. I've not played that version myself. On PS5 and PC, it seems to be a big problem at the moment. I've seen they've started rolling out stability patches. The first one came out yesterday for PS5. I installed that. I haven't seen any noticeable difference to it at all. But when a game is being sold to you on console for $69.99, you might want to hold off and wait for that to go down in price, and then wait for some stability patches to be introduced before you actually jump in on this, which is a shame because, like I say, it's got all the markings to be an amazing sequel, and it's got a great story in there. If you like the first story for you to follow on with, it's the technical aspect.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I have been playing more Dead Island 2 this week when I've been given the choice, knowing that you were going to be talking more about Survivor and playing more of it than I got a chance to do anyway, sort of thing. But the other reason I didn't play more than I did is because it took like 8, 9, maybe 12 hours or something for it to install on my console, and I've no idea why.
Yeah, that is weird. Because you said
That
this
is very strange.
Yeah, we were talking about this last week. I think when we were recording, you started installing yours, and then I hadn't started, and I had to edit and stuff, so I didn't mess around. And then in the morning, and you were going, 5 hours later, it's still installing. And then the next day, before I went to work, I popped it in, and in half an hour, it was done. So I have no idea what was going on there.
At 1 o'clock in the morning, it was ready to play. I was like, yeah, great. You missed a chance.
Well, Tim plus technology is all I'm going to say.
There is that. I'm still playing because I'm enjoying the story. And I am a fair way through this game. I think I am actually quite close to completing it already. But I'm going to get through and do the story because I enjoy it that much. What I will do is keep an eye on this, and when I feel it's in a stable condition, much like I did with Cyberpunk, when I feel this is in a much more buyable state for the vast majority, I'll say so on the show. But yeah, buy at your own risk.
Thank you, Coleman. So, and thank you for frankly, the community service of I'm going to keep an eye on this game, and I'm going to let you know when it's declared Coleman ready.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's what I did with
Coleman
Cyberpunk,
seal of approval.
and that turned into something I was very optimistic. Well, something I didn't care about, to something I got very excited about, and then when I started playing it, got very optimistically excited to keep on going. And then after all the technical problems reared its ugly head, refunded it, spat on its grave, never looked back. And then when it got re-released in a much more stable state, I went, oh, this is possibly one of my favorite games of all time now. So just goes to show what maybe delaying a game and releasing it in a much more stable state is capable of doing.
Yeah, talking of a game where they took that advice to an extreme.
10 years.
Slightly less so than Duke Nukem Forever, which was still utter garbage when it came out.
14 years.
But Dead Island 2. Tim, you've been playing a little bit more of Dead Island 2. So tell us in excruciating detail what more bits you've been playing.
Well, I still haven't completed all of the main campaign. I've got most of the major missions. I thought I'd get more time gaming with a long weekend last weekend. I didn't get that much time in the end, but I did play a good few hours. I ended up sort of going back through a lot of the side missions and stuff that I hadn't done, the side quests and stuff. Still remaining a good game, still really enjoyable. We're talking about delaying a game and making it technically work. That's one thing you can't criticize Dead Island for. It's pretty stable. I've had a couple of very minor glitches that haven't really harmed gameplay. Like I had one thing that didn't load properly and I had to reload and lost about 2 minutes of gameplay, and I had one zombie crash through some of the geometry and actually have its head sticking out the floor. Like that's the two things that have gone wrong in my whole time with the game, basically.
You got to watch out for them floor zombies.
They'll get your toes. Zombies.
Oh, their dribbling gets right under the floorboards.
The boss that I did, I think, last week I hadn't got to I just got to the bit where I played in the demo, which was the whole funfair bit. That whole level was really good. The end boss for that was a killer clown thing. That's one of the kind of, like harder to fight zombie class type things that can regen and have got arms that are immune to all type of attacks.
Got arms?
Block with it and stuff. Yeah, anyway, but there was just a good fight.
And hands? Do they have arms and hands? That's a killer combo.
It was the arms that protect them against any type of damage that was the particular noteworthy thing there, Dan. Not having arms, but arms that protect them against
arms.
Them. Yeah, they are good for, battling things. But as I said, that remained fun. The subsequent levels have all been good. I've generally enjoyed my time in the world, and it is a steady 60 frames per second throughout, apparently. As you said, I'm not the best judge of these things, but other people say that is the case.
Yeah, I count them.
And as I said...
that's what Tim does.
Yeah.
He only knows up to 30.
Really enjoyed it and plays well. I still haven't played I still haven't played co-op just because I need to start with a new character and then hook up with my mate who do some co-op with. But I'll possibly report back when I've done that as well. But other than the still not liking the term Hell A very much, I still like my time there. it's still a good fun game. And yeah, generally enjoyable. I've enjoyed going back through the levels and playing some of the side missions. And I'm planning which character to start with when I finish the game. So yeah, like
no
that
zombies,
in itself
not witches.
bodes pretty well. So yeah,
Good.
yeah. I enjoy.
Splendid.
It is good.
I just like the
recommend.
idea that now that Tim counts frames in real time.
Yeah, it's something
I would
that's
like- I'd like
amused
to
me
see-
for a while. That
One.
idea
Yeah.
of someone with a stop.
So
One.
there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, too many again.
No, you got a little stopwatch. You're like, ready? What do we go?
Yeah, Yeah, exactly.
Like an old school track one, like the little kind of stopwatch.
Yeah, that's how Tim counts frames.
Right, I believe those are all the games that we done played this week. And what a selection of games. All top
what
choices,
a bevy.
kind of.
What a bevy of electronic entertainment we have festooned upon you.
Yes. I'm glad we covered those because I already made the covers for this week.
Good.
It saves me changing them.
Good.
All right, shall we wrap up?
I think we should.
What goes first? What goes
But I've got a
first in the
feeling
wrap up?
there's some questions.
Oh, no, they're coming
Do
up.
we want to do some
We got to get
They're coming up.
shirt plug,
Oh,
Tabletop
no, I
Tuesday,
don't think-
questions.
All right. I just get
Just because we
We're not
switched the
turning
news
everything
up
upside
doesn't
down.
mean we've all gone
Yeah.
full chaos. That's my job.
Ah, all right, fine. My face is on shirts. You should buy some shirts. tpublic.com/store/BRB. Shirts with my face on it.
Excellent.
Get a
That's right.
mug with a mug.
tpublic.com/store/BRB.
Indeed.
Do we do phone
Tim,
cases?
Tuesday.
I forget.
Yeah, there are phone cases.
Yeah.
There's face masks, there's
Excellent.
phone cases. I'm fairly
I'm gonna have a look
sure.
Phone case. Yeah.
Mugs, there's mouse mats, there's stickers.
See, mugs I like. My girlfriend likes a phone case, and I think it'd be really funny to just gift her one with your face on it, Dan, with no context.
Sounds good. Do it.
If any of her family
Yeah,
are
I
listening,
realise
don't
I
tell
need
her.
a more up-to-date photo of you, Dan, to do an Only Dan's thing, because I don't want to do that with a picture of you aged
Oh,
like
God.
13 and a half. That's going to look dodgy.
Oh, no, I think you should.
Would you like me to do some AI headshots? I've got that
Nah.
program now.
Yeah, so you can have me on a hoodie, a sticker, a kid's t-shirt, a mug, a mask. You can have my face on your
Please don't
face.
put Dan's face on your kid's t-shirt. So
There,
weird.
there are other designs other than Dan's face. Like, we should point this out more often than we do.
No, only my face.
I quite like the Tabletop Tuesday Kaiju fight t-shirt. I'm a big fan of that one.
My face.
Yes.
And Dan's face.
is good.
Big fan of Dan's face.
Mm-hmm.
It's the face
like
that
my
runs
face.
the place.
It is.
And speaking of Tabletop Tuesday t-shirts that don't contain Dan's face, there's an event that goes
My
along
face.
with those t-shirts.
What?
There is indeed. Each and every Tuesday, we do an event called Tabletop Tuesday at the Loading Bar in Dalston. Most weeks, we have a different feature game that you can play and possibly win that week. This week, we are doing a collection of social deduction games. So, Blood on the Clock Tower and Two Rooms and a Boom, I think, will be the two ones that we'll be looking at doing this week. So, if either of those grab your fancy, come down, join in a game, and meet a load of people that like playing tabletop games every Tuesday at the Loading Bar in Dalston. If you want more details, there are more details up on the top left-hand corner of Big Red Barrel, or you can search for Tabletop Tuesday on meetup.com and join our over 2,000 members in our meetup group.
That's a lot of members.
Yeah, Tabletop Tuesday,
It's
Loading
a
Bar,
veritable sausage
Stoke,
party in the meetup.
Newington, not Dalston. Stoke Newington. Just down the
Stoke
road.
Newington?
Yes, because Tim keeps saying Dalston.
Do I?
What was that? Two rooms and a boom, or two booms and a room, and Blood on the Clock Tower.
Blood on the Clock Tower.
Yes, excellent. If you have enjoyed this show, then wow, you've got good taste. Well done, you.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it immensely.
Did you? Oh,
I'm looking forward to listening to this at least 3 times as I edit the show.
It's the only way to listen to this show.
But yes, if you have enjoyed, then why not let us know by leaving us a good old review in whatever service you can leave reviews in. I looked into the whole Spotify thing. You can't leave like full reviews. You can just leave little point reviews. And I think we have all 5 points on there. So that's good. That's good. But yeah, whatever way you can, leave us a review and that'll get back to us and we can read it on the show if we particularly like it.
Please
so leave
do.
some funny ones. I like funny ones. And also, you can get in contact with us. You can do so on bigredbarrel.com. Over there, we have a comment section on each and every post.
What?
We have a Discord, which is linked on bigredbarrel.com. We have a Facebook and a Twitter at Big Red Barrel. And we have a YouTube, Big Red Barrel TV, which someone told me that link's not working, so I need to look into that. Hopefully, I can get that fixed before the next show goes out. And of course, we have show notes in each episode. So if you're listening on your phone, if you're on YouTube or whatever, have a look at the show notes. There's links to all those different social media ways of getting hold of us. Or if you're on YouTube, you can just leave us a comment on YouTube. That's pretty cool. Watch on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe as well. Anyway, all these people...
if you're watching on YouTube,
like
hi.
Hi.
If you've been watching, if you've been enjoying and you want to get involved in the show, you can get to any of those methods that I have just labeled out for you. And you can ask us questions by saying, I have a question. And first of all...
Do you?
Oh, we got a newcomer to the questions. No, we haven't.
Right.
It's Ed. Ed says...
It's Ed.
It's Ed.
Right.
He says, do you find yourself having palate cleanser games, ones that you save between other titles to clear your mind, or because you've been playing one kind of game too long? No, but I like to go back to The Secret of Monkey Island 1 and 2, LeChuck's Revenge, quite a lot when modern video games are just getting me way too down.
Yeah, semi-joke answer, but also semi-serious answer. Anything that isn't Destiny 2.
That is your palate cleanser. So
But in all seriousness, I quite like me a bit of Picross. Actually,
Ooh,
I find that
good
a really satisfying palate cleanser game, just to chill out with. I quite like that.
Oh, Game Boy Tetris
And
as
Tim,
well.
how do you cleanse your palate after licking all of your Nintendo Switch cartridges?
I think one of the games, funny you say Nintendo Switch, one of the games I kind of fall back to go to between games when I don't have anything that I'm sort of, actively scratching away at my brain, itching
so
me
long?
to play, is just Into the Breach generally. Like that's one I tend to fall back on.
Yeah.
But then otherwise, like, I think I use mobile games for that a lot these days. Like, whatever mobile game I'm playing is the sort of thing that I'll play when I'm not playing something, or, got to gap it to fill in between games.
So the thing that you're playing that isn't something else is the thing that you're playing that isn't something else. Just to make sure I got that sentence from you absolutely correct.
Well, Marvel Snap is a good go-to. There you go.
Okay. All right. One from Stingo. He says, I have a question. Are there any games that you would rather watch being played rather than play them yourself?
Ooh.
No. If there's a game I don't want to play, I'd rather play something I do want to play. And if I want to watch something, I'd rather watch something.
I used to watch a lot of Let's Players, which I've kind of grown out of, I guess. But I do go back to Game Grumps whenever they do the Knight's Quest or Space Quest or any of those kind of Sierra point-and-click games, because those are ones that I used to play as a kid, but I don't want to revisit them because they're so much harder than Monkey Island. And I quite like watching other people play those games rather than play those games myself.
I think I'll occasionally enjoy watching streams of like iRacing or kind of Assetto Corsa competitions, stuff like that, where it's actually kind of about the racecraft. I quite like that. I'll watch those. But it's probably because I'm quite happy. I will quite merrily watch motorsport of any flavour. So
the only time I watch people playing through games gameplay is generally when I'm really into a game but can't play it. Like I'm stuck at work, and last couple of weeks I've watched other people play co-op Dead Island 2, basically.
Forgotten how your hands
I've watched
work.
The Outside Xbox crew playing through that, and I've watched the Eurogamer people play through that as well. So yeah, but I don't tend to have a game I'd rather watch someone else play. That's not really
fair enough.
Undertale is the other one. I like the story of Undertale, but I don't like playing through Undertale that much. So there's a video on Steam Train they played through a couple of times, and I really like that. I don't think that show exists anymore. Undertale. Shall we do one more from Ed?
One more from Ed.
Let's do... I like this. Actually, I'll save that one. Let's do Worst Gaming Faux Pas.
Games World, circa 1993.
My name's Daniel. I'm 14 years old. I burnt Chrissing up in the first round, and the rest of you are going to be left eating my dust.
That's my gaming faux pas.
Eating my dust.
There it is again.
Eating my dust.
And once more.
Where's the other
Right,
one?
do worse than that, guys. Come on.
Hold on,
bring it
wait.
Daniel, you in for a beating?
Nah.
It's always been one that irks me. It's a classical gaming one that lots of people complained about to the point where it became a bit of a memeable thing and became like the name of a video series, I think it was. But it's even more egregious when it exists in games today, and that is invisible walls.
Okay.
Where you come up against things and they're invisible and you can't
Eating
jump
my
through them
dust.
for no reason.
Aren't those, if you can't jump through them, aren't they invisible ceilings?
I mean,
Is that
not
really
if
a
they're
faux pas?
vertical
Is that
ones.
your faux pas? Is it a faux pas is what
That's more
something
a
you've
design
done?
flaw.
Yeah, like
I
faux
would-
pas
I
is like,
would have thought
oh,
that
shouldn't
was
It's a
have
flaw
done that.
pa. I would
But it's
because I would
worst
say
gaming faux pas? Okay.
something that really annoys me when playing games with others is if you're playing a multiplayer game and just no one's getting into it except for the one person that wants to play it, and everyone's very vocal that they don't want to play it, but you're still being forced to play this game that no one wants to play.
Okay.
I would consider that a gaming faux pas.
Okay.
I mean, Ed, I look to you to weigh in. Has Tim fundamentally misunderstood what the term
Quite
faux
possibly.
pas means? I think he
probably
has.
Game design
Please weigh
faux
in.
pas, maybe, but hey.
It doesn't say that. It says worst gaming
Yes.
faux pas. All right.
Yeah.
So to summarise, Tim's an idiot, and I embarrassed myself on Sky TV in the mid-90s. There we
Eating
go.
my dust.
There we go. And Coleman, I don't know what Coleman did.
I came up with an actual
Got
gaming faux
soundboard.
pas.
There we go. Very
There
good.
you go.
I'm not sure I can get my fist in it.
Yeah. So there we go.
That
That
would be a
is
gaming faux
your lot.
Yeah.
But before we go, Coleman,
Yeah?
I have some homework for you.
Oh, go on then.
Do you know what Discord unveiled?
Soundboard and a raid system.
Gentlemen of this podcast,
You want to,
listeners of all varieties,
are we recreating
I
the
want to hear
soundboard?
suggestions for what you want to hear on the Discord soundboard.
I mean, I could just.
Discord soundboard!
I have the.
Discord
I
soundboard!
do have the. I have the soundboard backed up, so I could just put all the files on the soundboard.
Import the
You
whole
know,
thing,
such
yeah?
classics
There we
as.
go.
Ooh.
Poke it out or pull it back in.
I think there might be a limit for how many we can have. So
Oh, that one will do
So
it.
do sound off of any sound bites or regular things that
Hello.
Coleman does that you need. So, yes,
All right, I'll probably just have a flicking session.
but all those. So there we go.
Big
That's your
old
lot.
monocles.
That is your lot. So, we're going to go. I think we should go. I think we've all had enough.
Good work.
I've had enough of me. Coleman's had enough of me. Tim's had enough
No.
of me as well, probably. And you've probably had enough of me. So we're going to go. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week, one assumes. Or I think, what's up next? Zelda is... We're probably not going to have played Zelda for long
Probably
enough
not
by
playing
then.
it. One of the biggest releases of the year because I didn't
Yeah.
finish the previous one and I can't be
Good
asked.
work. When is that? Is that May 11th that's released?
Yeah, that sounds right. Thursday, right?
Yeah, so we might not be able to review the new Zelda game or have anything other than first hands-on impressions by next week.
Can I just say, did you see the Kotaku thing?
No.
One of the Kotaku senior writers was very vocal about his being upset on Twitter that Kotaku didn't get a review copy of Zelda after writing a post with all the leaks about Zelda and have done many things in the past, like write articles glorifying playing Metroid Dread the day after Metroid Dread came out on emulators on PC rather than playing it on the Switch. And what was the other one they did? Oh, they
Jesus.
I think it was like 2019. They said that one of the characters in Smash Brothers Ultimate was using a derogatory word for someone who's disabled. Make your own judgment what that is. When actually they just misunderstood someone speaking Japanese.
Wow.
So Nintendo might have had enough of them after a point and went,
Oh,
do you know what?
Kotaku,
You're
when
not
will you
having it.
learn? When will you learn?
I am
When?
very
Never.
curious if that game is going to let some people down. I'm wondering if it will live up to the hype.
Well,
I don't
we
know.
shall see. We shall see.
I,
we don't know.
I
yet.
recommend listening to the Nintendo podcast when that comes out because those guys seem pretty switched on about Nintendo stuff and also
switched on.
well, yeah, there's that. But they're also very big into Zelda and also, because it's beat 'em ups and Wolf Den. And Wolf Den's very big into his emulating as well.
So there we go. So we'll be back next week with some stuff and things. And if that doesn't entice you, well, I don't know what will. So thank you for listening to us. Thank you for downloading us. And all that really remains is for me to remind you that I have been Dan.
I might have been.
Insert chaos joke here.
Wow, okay, that's not very chaotic.
It is. I can't be asked to think of a chaos joke.
I feel like chaos is faxing it in this week.
Possibly. Faxing? How old are you?
Yeah. Old enough. Old enough.
Eating my dust.
There we go. I sounded like that in the 90s. That's how old I am. All right. Yep. So, thank you, one and all. We'll be back next week. So, until next time, dear listeners, toodle bye.
You and your ears are quite welcome for the podcasting goodness that you just heard. Why not roll on over to BigRedBarrel.com for more podcasts, news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarrel.com.
Kind of,
Whoa. What?
Flesh Prince of Bel Air. It's a play on words, Dan. Keep up. Right.
Wow. That's no. I am keeping up. I'm just saying that sounds like some kind of really horrendous sex doll.
I think I've
Just
seen
gonna
that movie.
Say that.